Good evening, Dennis. How are you doing? Any day. I'm very excited, Dennis. I'm very excited, and yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, to be fair. I haven't done, obviously you're going to be here, but I haven't done semi-solo commentary in a while. But I'm excited to see the race, and yeah, to see how these drivers do. I'm really fortunate, Dennis, to say I have the Red Bull Ring, one of my favorite circuits of all time. As you said earlier, only 10 corners, but 10 deceivingly hard corners. We've seen some big accidents, whether that be in our in the real life GT3 series, the F1. You've seen some quite a big accidents. You've seen mistakes, and tonight's going to be tricky. We obviously will have a wetness on track, as we can now see. We have a bit of rain, just a slight bit of rain. Dennis, we're getting feedback that there's no audio for you. Maybe just check if your mic is on.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Okay. We'll just reintroduce. Hi everyone, my name is Perfect Fan Xavier. I'll be leading our commentary for today. You obviously know Dennis. We are at the Red Bull Ring for round 8 of 10 of the Sim Experience Global Safe World GT3 Championship. It's a long name, Dennis. It's a long name I had to get out there.
It's a bit of a tongue twister. When you do it regularly, you kind of get into it, and it sort of becomes the norm. You don't have to think about it. But when you think about it, you tend to always make the mistakes. But welcome everyone. As you can hear, I actually have a cold, so my kids have been sick for a while, and I've now got it as well, so my voice is struggling a bit. So I'm joined by Xavier Odendahl tonight, and Xavier is going to hopefully take over the realm from most of the events. So I will chip in when I can, when the voice allows, but at least we have some backup. Unfortunately, Sean has got connection issues tonight, so he's pulled out of it for tonight. But we at least have Xavier. We have you to save the race.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dennis. I mean, listen, it's going to be fun. We have, as we can see, the beautiful cars on this wet track. And listen, wet isn't easy, eh? Wet isn't easy. But yeah, Dennis, thank you very much. I'm going to send you a message if you can just have a look at that. And then, yeah, folks, let's get this underway. So, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, welcome, as Dennis said, to the Red Bull Ring. It's got quite a bit of history, and with that history is going to come a lot of competitiveness. At the moment, we have our initial qualifying times coming in. Mondrek Larsen on pole with Niels Swartz second. Olivier, or I think that's Sean Olivier, isn't
Sean,
it?
That's right.
In I was about to say, in P3, Gerard Bierkes P4, Gary van Zyl P5, and then Bradley Searle rounding up our top 6. A 15-car grid here. Obviously, 15 doesn't sound like a lot, but I've come to notice, Dennis, that 15 cars suddenly get a lot on this track. If there's maybe a hold up or a slight crash, 15 cars suddenly becomes a lot, doesn't it?
It does, and I think it all depends where the 15 cars are. It is a slightly shorter circuit, so 15 cars is maybe more like 20 at Spa, or 25 at Spa even, because Spa is quite long. I think Spa is a 7-kilometer circuit, this is a 5-kilometer circuit, so it's a lot of straights, and I think there'll be a lot of slipstreaming. Only 10 corners, so I think it'll be close racing. The lap time should be fairly competitive throughout the field, so I think it'll still be a great race to watch.
I think it should be, and yeah, listen, overall, I'm relatively excited. I think it should be fun in terms of not only seeing the drivers really push the limits, which we will talk about in a bit here as we tick down to qualifying, but also just in terms of action. I mean, we've seen so much action in the series. It seems like every race where we're ticking up, and I mean Austria, long straights, slow corners. It is a recipe for racing. I am going to hold on. Give me a second here, Dennis. I am going to ask you if you can real quick check your messages, please. I don't want to do anything without you, without permission. Don't want the league owner to be mad at me at all. Ladies and gentlemen, on board here with Dual Swans, obviously in the Mustang part of the Pandacity Academy teams, finishing up a lap here, about 7.5 tenths of Mondre Clausen in that P1 spot. Dennis, I do have something I want to get your opinion on. How kind of is it, how's the growth been with some experience, let's say? How have you kind of experienced people coming into the community, people joining the races? What's that been like for you?
I think it varies a lot depending on the sim we were using at the time. So we've had various sims that we've used throughout our existence. We've been around as sim experience since about 2011. Before that we had a different name, but we've raced various sims, and it started off where we raced originally. The first PC sim we did was R-Factor, and I think we had 8 or 10 guys, and then we ended up at some point doing Xbox 360, and we had about 15 guys, and then we went back to PC, and we've had a set of Corsa, and at that point we were up to 40 odd guys and almost 50 guys. We had to split the races and have 2 races, and then we went back to R-Factor, and then we did a bit of Automobilista, and now we're on ACC. And the guys obviously know that ACC is very popular, and there's guys I think that have stopped racing with us because we didn't do the most popular sim, but we are doing it now, and I think a lot of the guys are showing up again. This particular venue, it's the latest DLC in the lineup of DLC for Assetto Corsa Competizione. So I think there are some guys that perhaps just don't own it yet. That's maybe why we also have slightly lower numbers. Perhaps also the wet track has scared off some guys. It's not completely wet, but it's not dry. It's light rain, so just to give a bit more of a challenge to the guys, and also give maybe an opportunity to guys that don't usually fight at the front, but maybe have very good wet skills. But I think changing sims definitely makes an impact, and growth overall, we've been growing, so I think it's always good to see growth in whatever shape or form it comes in. But changing sims is something that we are definitely doing just to sort of get out there a bit more. And we're going to also start doing Wednesday series again. So we've been doing some fun ones just to get the guys that can't maybe race on the Sundays. That's something we also did in the past. We had a Wednesday and a Sunday series, so there was more options for everyone. So that's something we're going to bring back. So hopefully we'll have more option with various other sims coming forward, and then also just have more races in general being run at any given time.
100%. Listen, it's going to be fun. I think some experience, it still has quite a ways to go. I think we have some plans that we can't talk about yet, but I'm very excited. I'm also excited, Mr. Dennis, because I can't always, I can't commentate alone, but you do need to rest your voice. You do need to rest your voice, Dennis. So I'm going to bring in a very, very good friend of mine. Now, his name, I learned him by the name Vicious Rockstar, which I presumed he was just viciously rocking out constantly. Turns out that's not his personality at all. He's actually a very cool, very, very calm, and very collected guy. Everyone, please welcome my good friend, Vicious Rockstar, or Tina. Tina, I mean, how are you, man? This is a bit of a last-minute arrangement. But we've obviously worked together before, so I'm excited to do this. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Yeah, feels good to be commentating. Let's see how the race goes. Racing.
I'm sure it's going to be. I should also probably introduce Dennis. Dennis, this is Tina. Tina, this is Dennis. I'm sure you guys can get to know each other.
Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay. And as we say, welcome, folks. I want to welcome all of you, those just tuning in, because the numbers just keep ticking up, apparently. Welcome to the last 5 minutes of qualifying here. Harry van Zyl, we're watching him now, going up that front straight, braking into turn 3. I think that should be turn 2, in my honest opinion, but we call it turn 3 because otherwise, I'm pretty sure someone at Red Bull will probably sue us. But Harry, on a beautiful lap, the Mustang, very stable around here, a very stable car, a very quick car, good on the brakes, but just not quite able to match the Lamborghini and the McLaren ahead. Tina, obviously you've had some time racing, obviously more on the F1 side. You've commentated quite a few things. You've race engineered a lot for us at Pandacity. I mean, it's a wet race. Very heavy cars. What do you think's going through the drivers' minds at the moment?
I think probably just getting through the first lap, because it's going to be a lot of chaos in that first corner, just trying to get through the race. It's going to be interesting to see what strategies people go with as well.
It is going to be very interesting indeed. Obviously, folks, we are mandated today to 2 pit stops, if I have that correctly. If not, I am sure Dennis will shout at me in
That is correct.
about 2 seconds. But we are mandated for 2 pit stops today, and obviously this is variable, so drivers can choose to change their tires, fix damage, or how much fuel they put in. Dav's put in at least a liter in the stops. Oh, it was Gerrit Beekers from Sim Alpha Race, Sim Racing there, gets very, very loose. Gerrit, quite a big name in the scene, very popular. Sim Alpha, actually, a bit of history on them. Used to be a very, very extremely big team, as far as I know. Kind of fell off a bit in terms of, I think, maybe lost a few members. Not as active anymore, but still a very, very, very brilliant team. Have a lot of good drivers, and Gerrit Beekers, one of those, putting a P3. Ahead of Gerry van Zyl, and I'm not quite sure if Gerry is going to come out yet. We have now Mr. Morne Duploy in the KYR Audi. Such a beautiful car, honestly. An extremely beautiful car, and I'm going to pitch a question now as we head into the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Very quickly, Mr. Dennis, and I know voice hurts. Mr. Dennis, Mr. Vicious, favorite car in ACC? I want no explanations. I don't want any excuses. I just want the name of the car.
Does it have to be GT3 or can it be any of the cars?
Any car. Any car.
I quite like the GT4s personally. I've been driving the Mercedes GT4 of late, just messing around, and I'm really enjoying that.
Okay, Mercedes AMG GT4. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to not only disagree with you, but probably want to hurt you. I would just like to preface that, Dennis. It's a liked car, but honestly, personally, I've always liked the Mercedes, so I can see where you're coming from. Vicious, obviously, you have a lot of time in the engineering booth as well. You have to have some sort of favorite-looking car.
I'd say, yeah, Mercedes GT3, I'd say.
I'm going to just butt in as well. One of the things I don't like, car-wise, I don't like mid-engine cars. I don't know why. They just don't work for me. So the Ferraris, the Audis, I think the Audi's the most beautiful-looking car in the field, but I can't drive it. It's just the balance of it. It just handles differently. The Porsche I can handle. I can get my head around that. That's not a problem. But I just like a front-engined, rear-powered car. For me, that's just how a car should be. It works with my mind.
I mean, that's the way most cars are set up. So I guess it's usually how it works. You've gotten used to that. I think that's what makes it easier. You know how to set it up very well.
And I would like to just ask a question very quickly, right? And Dennis, I'm just actually going to ask you to put us on to Mondre Clausen on his last flying lap here in that pink Lamborghini. What a flipping car. So, okay, Dennis, I have a question for you, right?
Yes.
In reality, what is the difference between a mid-engine and a rear-engine car? I know it sounds stupid, okay? But my logic tells me anything in front of the driver is front engine and anything behind the driver is rear engine. So I would love someone to explain to me, because this is a conversation I've had with some of my drivers and they have all told me I'm incredibly stupid. What would be your difference between your Lambo and your Ferrari? Because they fall into 2 different classes, but theoretically, their engines are at the same point. As we see Denis Xing, they're going over the line, taking P15. Mondre here now in his last lap, managed to squeeze a last one in. We're not quite sure if he's improving, but at the moment on pole by 1.5 tenths. So John the toy right on his back. A lot of the field now in the pits. So it's looking like a provisional pole here for Mondre, but we'll keep up to date on his lap.
I think also the time is about to run out because the session has officially ended. I'm not sure exactly how far in we'll get, probably another 15 seconds before it'll go over. So I think we're going to just jump to an ad break before the menus all jump up. I don't like seeing all the menus and stuff. I want to make it look real rather. So let's jump to an ad break. Yep, we're good.
I think we do have it another 2 minutes, hey? I think it's until the last person crosses.
No, it doesn't. The menu pops up earlier than that, and it catches me out every time because it seems to differ per track. So usually it's 1 minute 50 odd. So we're probably going to get a menu anytime shortly. So let's jump to an ad break quickly. I think Looking at the times, everyone is pretty much the same. I don't think anyone will change positions. Maybe Monet deploy.
Zolder has a massive slide. Zolder has a massive slide there. Let's have a look as he comes across the line. Can he extend his lead? Come on, Monterey. If not, we're going to
Right,
ads.
right, let's go to ads. Well done, well done. See you in a moment.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Red Bull Ring here in the beautiful Austria. We are round 8 from the Sim Experience Global South Africa GT3 World Series, brought to you by thesafeboys.com. Please do go check them out if you're looking for any industrial safe needs. We are at round 8, as you can see, on the 13th of October. Next round will be Imola, 27th of October, and then we'll look at Watkins Glen, finishing it off in the United States, the 3rd of November. Folks, as we enter our formation lap here, we have have Mr. Mondre Klaassen on pole position at the beautiful Red Bull Ring. Open 1996, track length of 4.3 kilometers, 10 corners, and it is located in the heart of Austria, some would say, in the mountains of Styria in Spielberg. I mean, a beautiful venue for a beautiful race we're going to have today. We have 15 racers on track ready to duke this out by whatever means possible, and I am very excited. I am very excited. Sorry, I am joined today by my wonderful co-commentators, Mr. Tine, or Vicious as I know him, and then obviously someone who has to save his voice, Mr. Dennis Mitchell. Our point system for today: qualifying. If you get P1, as we see a Mustang stop on track, you get 1 point, and then we go down from 20 to 1, from position 1 to position 15. So the whole field will be getting points today, and whoever gets the fast race lap will also get a point as well. Folks, do please remember as well to go check us out on SimGrid and on Discord. You can find our Discord link down in the description. In terms of championship, John the Toy having a lead at the moment. Not a far lead, a very tight lead, and we could still see that close up. Oh my soul, I cannot talk today. I apologize. We could still see that close up in these following 2 rounds. Very quickly, Dennis, Vicious, you guys have literally 10 seconds to make predictions for this race. Go.
I'm going to go with Jean de Toy, the wild card for this event.
I'm gonna go with Bukes. I think Bukes has good pace. Yeah, Bukes.
Okay, well, I'm going to go for the logical choice, and I'm going to say it's obviously Mondre Klaassen leading the field right here, folks, as we get into this last sector. And obviously, it is a short track, which means we have a lot of track spacing. So Mondre will, right about now, start getting a prompt that says, listen, slow down. We have to wait for the others to catch up. They will line up into 2 lines, 2 lines next to each other, hopefully not behind each other. They're lined up right alongside each other, which you can see now. They'll be limited to, I think it's 80 or 70 kilometers an hour, and then we will be waiting for the start-finish line to get this race started, folks. It is going to be a beautiful day in Austria, and it's going to be a beautiful day to go racing. As we now head almost onto the start-finish straight, we cross the pits on our left-hand side of the screen there. Mondre will turn into the last corner. No pole, no, he has John Toy right next to him. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. We're going to wait for the start-finish line. We are creeping slowly but surely. You're going to see these drivers start getting into the rhythm, revving their engines, doing the last burnouts. When will the flag drop? That is the question. We get past the line, and the flag.
Green light, go, go, go.
Now we go past the line.
It is green flag, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is green flag, not rotating until the start finish line. Mondre does lead into turn 1. John Toy in P2, and that looks like New Swart up into P3, beating out Gerry van Zyl. Bradley Surrey falling down 1 position. Mondre will be immediately under pressure here by this McLaren. John Toy, obviously that McLaren very quick. Will he go for the send? That's the question. Oh, nothing happens just yet. The 2 Pandassi drivers duking it out. Mondre doesn't get a good chance. This is the McLaren alongside it now.
Something happened.
He lost the rear end there, got a bit too sideways off the curb, I think. The curbs are damp, it's been raining. It looks like it's not raining at the moment, but there is light rain and those curbs are wet.
And on the brakes he goes, he lays on the brakes during side by side. We did also see an accident in the background there, not quite sure what happened, but we had a few cars offline. We will hopefully not have damage. Mondre taking a sweeping line into these corners. He is not scared at all. I mean, we haven't seen racing like this before. Mondre takes back the lead, but a very close charge there from John Toy, and he will be hoping to keep that up with Neil Swart right behind him. Folks, remember to join us at Experience SA Discord, as you would have seen at the top of your screen. You can find it in the description below. What I'm putting on, Tina, I want to get your kind of thoughts there first. We had a few up, a few downs, but a very exciting first lap there.
It was a really good opening lap from the leaders. Looks like the mid-pack got a couple of cars got damaged. Some cars dropping into the pits now. Possibly damaged. Don't know if they're tire changing, if they're changing any tires. But it looks like it's going to be an interesting race for sure.
We saw Gerrit Weerkes ending up in 15th after the first lap, so something happening to Gerrit.
Yeah.
Dennis?
Yes.
You have to be resting your voice.
Yes.
You should be resting your voice, young man. Gerrit Beekes, I was going to mention that. Gerrit Beekes, unfortunately, falling down the order there, down into P10. That's not going to be ideal for him, and not good, ideal for John. It is Neil Swartz in that beautiful Mustang, may I say, and he will be chasing down his own teammate. Now, the reason I say they're teammates, Mr. Dennis, is because these two actually are not only real-life mates, but they're generally good mates as well. They drive a lot together. We at Pandacity actually brought them in together as a bit of a pair. That's the only way they would come into the team. So it's going to be interesting to see what those two can do and maybe work together. Morley deployed here in that KYR Audi, a beautiful car. And he's about 9 tenths off of Bradley Surley. Bradley Surley in that Ferrari, obviously the Ferrari not the best on the straights, but it is incredibly stable, even more so stable than that Audi. And we'll have to see how that Audi looks for tire wear a bit later into the race. Looking a bit down the field order, we can see D Singh. He's about 8 tenths off of Brewis in P14 and 15. We will keep you updated, folks, on how that develops. You can see that McLaren, and that gap has suddenly gone up. No idea why that gap has suddenly gone up, but it's not 8 tenths anymore. It's now 6.6 seconds. As I say that, that is Morley Clarkson almost coming to lap, as we see Singh having a snap at the rear end. And I think these guys have already pitted, because there's no way Morley has already catched them. Yes, and we can see on the side of the screen there, they have already pitted. Early pits here. Tina, I want to get your opinion first here before we head over to Dennis.
Oh, will they make it stick?
It is lap traffic. It is lap traffic, so you should easily do it. But I am always scared of crashes on lap traffic. Tina, I want to bring this to you first. Early pit stops here. What's the mindset of an early pit stop?
I think possibly taking the early pit stop, maybe getting an advantage, undercutting them, and then taking the second one towards the end of the race, kind of splitting them up that way. I think possibly some of the others will take a couple of pit stops immediately after each other, or 2 pit stops immediately after each other.
Someone that will benefit from an early stop now would be someone like Gerrit, who's now been involved in something at the start. He's going to be slowed up going through the pack. If he pits now, he can go at his normal pace, and then when the others pit, he would have jumped them because he would have been faster in that stint.
Yeah.
Oh, Dennis, I have good news. Gerrit has pitted, actually. In P12 at the moment, he has actually pitted. 1 pit stop down here. A bit unfortunate news is for Fasaki at the back of our field in the 63 Lamborghini, 20 seconds behind the pack, and he has a stop and go 30 seconds penalty, which means he sped in the pits, which is a no-no, naughty thing to do. See, oh my soul, see, this is what I'm talking about. They're lapping back markers, but it seems like racing. It isn't just lapping back markers. It's drive to survive type of, you have to drive for your life. But beautiful balls there. Gerrit van Zyl really catching up to Neil Swartz. Gerrit, on average, probably quicker than Neil in that Mustang. It's going to be interesting to see if Neil can keep him behind. And now we can also see John Letouré falling a bit behind Mondre. And Mondre now 54 minutes on the clock. He's going to be spreading his legs. And John is going to see what he can do if he can get that McLaren back up to the rear end of that Lamborghini.
But what has happened to the rain? It's supposed to be raining. It's forecast for light rain. And suddenly the track is dry. I wonder if there are any drivers that are on wet tires on a driving track.
I am going to correct you. Dennis. And it's not often that I correct the owner of the server, but I am going to correct you. Actually, the forecast says it's only cloudy. If you look at our right top, you'll see for the next 30 minutes we only have cloudy weather. So, on paper it might have said rain, but I'll tell you what, on this server, we do not have rain tonight. As we see a Mustang there. Well, he was coming out of the pits and it looked like he was sliding. I'm not quite sure what happened there. That might be Ulafir or Brewis. I'm not quite sure which one. Going over to Mark Henneberry. He is being chased by the Audi, the number 17 Audi of our, I don't know how to say that name. DK? I don't know how to say it.
I want to butcher that.
So I know he's an international driver. I know he is one of our international drivers, but I have no idea how to say that name. And for fear of offending someone and getting the whole of Sim Experience SA cancelled, I am not going to attempt that again. So from now on, number 10 will be named the number 17 Audi. I would just like to inform everyone.
Just call him Alex.
Okay, up ahead, Kai van Zyl, we'll see the gap now, 3 tenths. There we have another battle. Alex, 9 tenths off of Mark Henneberry now. Those two will be lapping these back markers that are getting past. We have Bradley Searle, 1.1 seconds away from Harry van Zyl. And at the back, we have Singh, 4 tenths away from the likes of Brewitz. A lot of close battles here. Stanton, August, I didn't see this battle. Thank you very much, Dennis. Stanton, August, 3.5 tenths on the back of Hildebrand, and this is where it gets interesting. Obviously, that Ferrari, not the best in the straight lines, but when it gets in the slip, especially behind the Mustang, it suddenly gets some extra horsepower, which honestly Ferrari should start planning for. Dennis, teammate, your guys' opinions on the race so far, almost 10 minutes in here. We've seen a lot of action, and I think it's only going to get more.
I think these races are always very unpredictable because of the pit stop strategies. In the previous race, we saw that we didn't quite know because Chris pitted early. We thought Chris would become a contender. Then he got held up at some point and he actually ended up not being the contender. So, yeah, you never quite know how it's going to pan out. The gaps, and some of the guys can't get through traffic as fast as others. The guys that stop early sometimes actually penalize themselves, while others are able to take advantage of it more. So I think it's going to be very interesting. You never quite know.
Yeah, it's always a wild guess, and you really never know what you're truly strong at. Whether it's getting through lap traffic or being on your own on the open track and just pulling as many laps as you can, just trying to catch up and get the advantage if you've pitted early.
And I think another thing to factor in, it is a shorter track, so you're going to be coming across traffic more regularly. So that's another thing, how often will you get a clean lap in? So you pretty much, it's like endurance racing, you're going to be driving around cars all the time. So the guys that can navigate them better, I think, will do better in this race.
Dennis, I do want to ask something very quickly. Can you please go to the rear shot of Neil Swart's McLaren?
Yes, I'm on his car at the moment. There we go.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to the book definition of the word pressure. Now, if you go type up pressure into Google or Safari or your recommended browser, you are going to see this picture. Because behind Mr. Neil Swartz, he has Harry van Zyl, which, behind Mr. John Rettori, he has Neil Swartz, and behind Neil, he has Harry. That is a McLaren. I think if we can jump one car ahead just to John Ray, please, Dennis. We have John Ray, and then we have 2 Mustangs right up behind him, and then we conveniently have Bradley Searle, who's also decided to get into the chaos. Now, folks, I would like to remind you.
See,
that's what I'm saying. I would like to remind everyone that if, for instance, Bradley were to decide I'm going to break a bit late, then it would be chaos. If John Ray decided I'm going to lift a bit early, then it would be chaos. I mean, this type of close racing, teammate Dennis, I mean, this is just, it's so amazing. As we see Harry going for a move on you, we're going to keep on this move, folks, because that's what the view this is. Yes, beautiful move.
that was beautiful.
And what's a camera angle as well? I mean, this might be the best camera angle we've had all year.
The best cameraman is the one that's in the car. Yeah.
Exactly. We should start paying them. No, I'm kidding. But no, I mean, absolutely beautiful move there from Harry. And listen, all I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, if I was Mr. John Ray, I would be scared. I would be very, very scared. Because, I mean, he now has, once again, 2 roaring Mustangs and that Ferrari from Bradley Searle, and they're all fighting for the top 5. Meanwhile, apparently, Ulrich Larsen up ahead has decided to check out and say goodbye to all of us, as he is now a multitude of seconds ahead of anyone. There he is. Just so you guys don't forget how he looks, he is still on track and alive. Folks, we're going to come back to that battle in a second. I want to very quickly go to Gerrit Beekes. 4.5 temps now. Dennis, you stressed him having to improve and improve quickly, and he is sitting behind a Gullis in that BMW. BMW is good in a straight line, but once again, that Ferrari, extremely stable platform, and the question is, can he get close? 4.5 temps. Tina, your opinion?
I think he possibly can. I don't see a reason why he can't get ahead of him. The Ferrari's good in the corners, maybe not as much on the straights, but there's a decent amount of corners to make up for that.
And I would like to say sorry, because we have jinxed him when we joined him. He was 4.5 temps away, and he is now 8 temps away. So I do sincerely apologize.
You did say the BM was fast in a straight line, and we are on the straights now, though.
Commentator's curse.
It is the commentator's curse, isn't it? It's probably... Dennis, very urgently, back to Niels Swartz's car. I just have a feeling he might be impaled in someone else. Okay, not yet, not completely, but he has lost the position. And ladies and gentlemen, I was at 3 right there. We now have Niels Swartz behind Bradley Searle, behind John Lewis. That's it. I don't know how he missed it. Something happened now. Usually goes no on the parade. And that is where the Ferrari, that is Bradley Searle almost hitting John Gray, and I saw the racing level here. I mean, this is next level, isn't it, Dennis?
It's amazing. And you were talking about the difference between guys that brake a little bit early versus, the guy in the front brakes a bit early, the consequences. The guy at the back that brakes a bit too late, the consequences. When you're driving in a pack like this, it's what makes racing so exhilarating. You have to anticipate what the other car is going to do, and you start to rely on them doing it. And it's when they don't that you feel alive, because you have to react in the moment, in that split second. And that's what makes you feel so alive, is how quick you have to react, as we see Neil peeling into the pits.
And I think that might be for a change of pants for Neil, because quite frankly, I would be in the States if I had to actually drive there. Neil coming into the pits, but we still have John Ritway, Bradley Searle, and Kenny Van Zyl out on track. We're currently watching Mornay deploy P5 in that number 23 Audi. Ferrari will now check out. So Ferrari, he's on base standard pace from what it's to look like, he is quicker. So now the battle is going to be between that Ferrari of Mr. Bradley Searle and the McLaren of Mr. John Letoy. Now Mr. John Letoy extremely confident in the McLaren. He's shown some great pace in the series he raced in, but Bradley in the Ferrari, able to maybe brake later, able to get that stability through the corners. All I'm saying is, folks, is this is going to be a very interesting race, especially, with a snap there from John, they're not going to help him at all. Neil out of the pits, 1 pit stop down, a lot more BMW of shutting the gunners into a wall. Commentator's curse, or camera curse. I'm going to say it's camera curse, because the camera switched on to him.
Timing was pretty good.
Camera curse there, and poor Augustus sending him into a wall.
I think we must keep an eye on Neil, because he pitted before the group in front of him. Let's see if that gives him an advantage over, let's say, Bradley, who he was directly behind. Because Bradley, I think, is being held up slightly by Jean-Andre, and that was maybe affecting Neil. So let's see if he can get through the traffic quick enough, and that was pretty close.
In a battle.
So I say, getting through traffic, this blue flag is an awful thing. Oh my soul, blue flags, fight, folks. Here at Some Experience SA, we're not only special because we're also special because our blue flags have teeth and they will bite you. Bradley Searle here in P4, he's chasing our Jonathan. Can we see brakes? Not quite yet. Oh, but this is so close, isn't it? That McLaren is punching all through the air, it's going over the rear wing, and Bradley Searle is having one hell of a time.
Oh, truly bumper to bumper racing right here.
It is truly
fantastic.
It's absolutely amazing. Alex here, I'm gonna say Alex in the number 17 Audi here. P10 at the moment, slowly climbing up. And I wonder if he and the Gullis didn't have an accident that sent the Gullis into the wall. I'm not quite sure. It could have been. Yeah, because that was quite hard from the Gullis, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. Gerrit Beekes in P9.
Here we have P1 and Gerrit Bierkes in P9, and he's just sitting with P1, but he's already had a stop. P1 hasn't.
Indeed. Tine, sorry, you were saying?
I have forgotten.
Forgotten. Listen, it's a Sunday night, it's late. I think forgetting is on the menu. But I would like to say, just very quickly, I mean, Mondre has firmly checked out, hasn't he? I mean, he's almost 10 seconds ahead of Gerrit now. He's having a Sunday cruise. Surely, you know, Dennis, I mean, obviously you've spoken to Mondre, but we've obviously known him for a long time. Surely he's just completely checked out.
Well, the lap times show it. He's got the fastest lap of the race of a 29.730. The last lap he did a 130.3. P2 was a 130.0. So Gerrit was actually slightly faster. P3 was a 131. P4 a 132. Then Monet Deploy in 5th was a 30.8. So Monet also up into the 30s. And I think Gerrit Bierkes only a 32.9. So even though it looks like he's hanging with him there, it now looks like he's being dropped slightly. So I think this lap is a bit slower than the last lap.
Indeed, I do have to agree. Obviously, they are going through traffic, so we will see some fluctuations in the game, or sorry, not in the game, in the timings. But I mean, it is still a story to tell. You know, for Mondre to be ahead 9.7 to 210 seconds, it's still quite an amazing story for him to tell. Okay, as I say that, Niels Swartz now on the back of Hildebrand. He got it on the inside. Oh my soul,
To the late lunge there.
Yes.
It's one of those where the guy in front breaks a bit earlier than you expected, and you think, oh, I've got no choice but to go for it.
Yeah, he gets the overtake on the outside, on the next corner. Now he just has to keep it through the rest of the lap.
And I mean, it's honestly beautiful so far.
Well held there by Andre.
Very, very well held by Andre. And I do have to say, we didn't see it on stream, folks, but I do have some bad news. Bradley Searle has gotten past John its way after a mighty fight by John Ray. It unfortunately barely wasn't enough. But he was very close, wasn't he? He was very, very close.
Well, let's see. Maybe he can drag Jean-Andre along. Sometimes you just need to have someone in front of you to regroup. So he might help. I mean, we saw earlier the battle at the front when Jean-Andre was fighting with Mondre. So we know he's got pace. Maybe he's also just struggling with a bit of tyre wear or something that's just not working with the car at the moment. Maybe chasing someone he can drive around it and have a target just to keep him going. Help him focus.
Exactly, indeed. Help him focus. We're going to see what happens there. Gap in front has been extended now to 10.4 seconds. Mornay Deploy slowly catching up, 1.6 seconds off the back of John right now. Neil Swartz behind him. The Neil honestly be consistent here, going for that undercut, and it might serve him well just yet. Fasahi, unfortunately, being lapped quite a few times at the back, but he's still trotting along and he's still doing his best that he can. But honestly, I do have to say, Dennis, I mean, all in all, this is a dominant experience. A dominant race from those front two. I mean, Gerrit and Mondre have shown up today and they've like properly chosen violence.
Yes. That's a good race so far. Some good battles going on here. I can't wait.
The rest of the pack.
What was that?
They ran away from the rest of the pack and they're still running.
Yes. I was kind of expecting that Gerrit would be his main challenge, but then with Jean-Andre at the front at the start and Gerrit either pitting early or having an incident, it's kind of mixed things up a bit. So we'll see as we see a change in position here. Jean-Andre fighting back. Oh, in contact.
Oh, Jean-Ray.
Kneel the position.
That's going to be controversial, and I'm gonna actually look on stream to see that again. I'm gonna physically on my other screen watch on stream. But I mean, folks, it looked like John was just a bit too late on the brakes.
There's a replay. We can go interior to see what it's like.
And you can see John Ray. Oh, thank you, Dennis. John Ray on the inside here. So he is alongside here. So the question is, does he just get turned in on? Oh, and I think
he got turned in on.
I think he got turned in on. Yeah, I think Bradley maybe just initially I thought he broke too late, but I think Bradley maybe just undershooting at his apex and unfortunately crashing into him. Never a fun thing to see.
Very unfortunate.
But that has allowed Monet to deploy up into third position.
That has indeed. Another question is so now the question is damage, right? How are the damage levels of Genre and Bradley? Are they able to chase deploy? Is that something that they can't consider? Is it something that's impossible? This is where it gets interesting now in this battle for P3 to P5. Very unfortunate, I'll say, misunderstanding there between those few. But we hope to see more clean racing in the future, I will say. But yeah, listen, so far, guys, almost 13 minutes in, almost half the race dusted. It's been a wonderful race so far. Dennis, do you feel like you have rested your voice at all?
There are times where it's really bad, and other times where it's not so bad. But it's the less that I talk, the better it gets.
Well then you need to talk less, Dennis. Just we can sing a lullaby. I know a few. I can sing you a lullaby, and then we can do it that way. But okay, John is winner at 9.5 tenths behind. He is slowly crawling back. Bradley Searle slowly falling out of the 1 second from that Audi, and it looks like it's going to be John and Bradley again. These two are going to. I don't know how much I like saying it, but I have a feeling this isn't the last time they're going to be doing the tango.
I wonder if one of them's going to pit before, or pit anytime soon, to see if they can get any sort of advantage on the other anytime soon.
It surprised me they didn't already do it, because I thought they would have already pitted, but no, apparently these folks are just too brave.
The entire top 5 has not pitted yet.
And the interesting thing on the last lap, Monet was actually faster than both Bradley and Gendre. So whether they've got damage or not, he's managing to actually pull away from them ever so slightly.
And that is going to be crucial for his race. And I mean, listen, we do sometimes see this. I mean, especially, obviously, we have to mention it, right? We have to mention the big F1 where, two people crashing. Let's look at this exact track earlier in the year, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, costing each other the points to win because they wouldn't wait. And I mean, that is something we see in motorsports. Tina, I want to actually get your input because I know you obviously watch motorsports as well. And Dennis, I'm not asking for your input because you need to not talk. We see these accidents, Tina. What's your thinking? Is obviously drivers, they want to race, but do you really think it's worth them racing if they're kind of screwing up each other's races?
I think it's just being a little bit too over-eager, being aggressive, trying to get the pass done as soon as possible just so you can get through and try chase after the lead. But in this case, I think they probably should have just tried follow each other, see how closely they can race with each other to pull towards the lead rather than costing each other time by fighting and getting the lead and getting everyone else to pull further away from them, making life even more difficult for themselves.
Exactly. And I mean, listen, that is what they've done now. They have made life more difficult. But Gerrit Bekkers, slowly but surely climbing up. Unfortunate start from him, but he is slowly climbing up. And I'm excited if he can. Still 30 minutes remaining. Anything can still happen. I'm excited to see here what he can do. Tina, what do you think is the highest expectations here for Gerrit?
I think with how this race is going so far, maybe a P7, P6 if possible. But currently, it's looking a bit difficult. Not exactly possible, but you never know what could happen in this race. Maybe a crash could happen, maybe something that could make things go his way could happen. Luckily, he has already used one of his pits, while most of the people ahead of him haven't pitted, so he does have that slight advantage over them.
He does indeed have the slight advantage. I do also want to point out, John Ritway has now done his pit stop, folks. He is now one pit stop, but very crucially, Neil Swartz 2.7 seconds ahead of him. Dennis, I think had John Ray and Bradley not got into an accident, they will have gotten out in front of Neil. But that accident has now given Neil the opportunity to spread his legs and get in front of them. And ladies and gentlemen, I think this is going to be crucial. I think once Bradley pits, it is going to be very, very close competition for those free spots, and I don't think it's the last we have seen of them just yet. Up ahead, oh my soul, I thought the gap couldn't get bigger. You lied to me, Dennis. You said it was closing down. You said that gap was getting smaller. The gap in front now, Wimberley Crossing, Harry van Zyl, 0.6 seconds with the gap between Mornay and Harry van Zyl, 9.7 seconds. Dennis, I mean, you are lying to me. How dare you?
Yeah, this Audi is definitely going well, but it looks like Bradley's now starting to up the pace a bit. But he's still there. But we do see that Zolder has fallen away, so he's definitely lost a lot of pace. And Neil has got past him. I think Neil will then be a net. Well, I think when the pit stops happen, we have the top 4 have not pitted yet. So Neil is the first of the drivers to have pitted. So he's actually looking very strong at the moment.
He is indeed looking.
Clean air currently.
So we don't know what is the first of all, what pit stop did he do? Was it just for tires? Was it for fuel? Was it for fuel and tires? We know they have to have at least a minimum of 1 liter per stop. He could have just done a 1 liter splash and dash, or he could have put more in. So you're not sure if his car is running light or if it needs to have a heavy stop fuel for the next one. So we'll see how that all pans out. But if the guys in front of him are just going to do splash and dashes, then he might not catch up as much as he would like. If they have to put fuel in as well, then he might pass them.
He did stop quite early as well, because he stopped right after the crash. Could it possibly be damage of some kind?
It could have been, yes.
Because he was in that mid-pack when that crash happened. Because one driver spun out and then it just caused chaos for everyone else behind.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to point out, just so I don't end up in any lawsuits, I did advise Dennis to speak as little as possible. So Dennis, if your voice starts hurting, it's not my fault, okay? No, but you guys do make a very good point as well.
Pits.
He does. Okay, so he goes into the pits. I think the way he went into the pits, I don't know if we can maybe get a replay on that. I would love a replay on Monday entering the pits. I think it was questionable. I think he should get a 2-minute slowdown penalty for that. So the drivers were advised to stay on the right-hand side. And so he's done it. And you know, I have a policy, right? I have a policy personally of always trying to defend my drivers. I cannot defend that. Okay, so it looks like he initially was like, okay, I'm going to take the corner normally. Then was like, maybe I should pit. Then was like, maybe I shouldn't pit. And then last minute decided, you know what, I want to pit.
He truly sent it into the pits there.
He did fully send it into the pits. So Mondre, I'm not going to defend you there. You can have that conversation / argument with Dennis himself. I am not stepping in on pit entry rules. Not today. Mondre has pitted, comes out P4 with that big lead, and he is in very, very open air now.
Yes, and right behind him was Carrot as well, coming out the pits.
What are you saying, Dennis?
Although Gerrit has done both his pit stops and Mondre has only done the one, Gerrit is now the first driver in the list to have got both his stops done and dusted.
Exactly, and to be fair, it is going to be, I think, a lot of fun to see how exactly this shapes up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, officially under 30 minutes left. Time has flown by. Mornay Duploy will now come in for his first stop of the day. And I mean, it's only getting better and better at this, isn't it? I have a feeling, folks, we might see some close racing to the end. I'd love to hear everyone's opinions on that. Dennis, Vicious, do you guys think we'll see some close racing here close to the end?
I think so, definitely.
I think we might have a close race between Swartz and Neil, and more Neil in the race.
Swartz and Neil. Well, I do have to say, Tino, seen as Swartz is chasing Neil by being his last name, seen as the last name is chasing the first name, yes, I would think that's a very the fun never stops. The fun never stops here, does it? We always have something to laugh about.
We have a penalty for Stanton Augustus as well. Looks like he was maybe stop go. So what did he speed into the pits? It looks like his car's maybe a bit damaged as well.
I mean, shames that. So stopping the free is usually speeding in the pits. That's usually speeding in the pits. On damage, did see him get in a bit of an accident earlier. So I'm not quite sure if that's maybe new damage or just old damage. But unfortunately, a stop and go free, that does hurt a lot, doesn't it?
Especially around this circuit, yes.
You know, and that's the one thing about the circus. That's the one thing about the circuit that I don't necessarily like very much, is the fact that if you get a penalty around here, it hurts you so much more, doesn't it?
Well, I guess that's good encouragement to avoid penalties.
It is indeed. It is. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first from Dennis, the man himself. Do not get penalties, or you'll be or you won't like the rest of your race.
It's that old saying: prevention is better than the cure.
That is true.
It's also easier. It's also prevention is also a lot easier than the cure. I've come to realize. Okay. But further on, 27 minutes on the clock. Hildebrand's racing out against Alex in the number 17 Audi. These two are very close. Once again, another close landslide. Didn't expect to happen. Both on one pit stop. That Mustang, guys, you can say what you want, but that Mustang is so intimidating.
It's a good-looking car as well.
Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful car.
It's not just good looking. It's beautiful.
The red as well. The red and black.
It is
fantastic.
It is just. But Dennis, how do you just say it's beautiful? It is literally perfect in every way. I mean, you know,
dive.
Nice move there by Andre. Very well done. Oh, I see Alex getting a bit right.
I'm almost heading into barriers and being able to save it. Well done, Alex.
Is that the second time he has had to save it, is it not?
And that allows Gerrit past.
It does indeed allow Gerrit past, as Gerrit gets you. Gerrit also taking his chances there. The drivers are using a lot of runoff, and I am quite surprised, actually, the fact that we are getting more track limits.
This track seems to always allow it, though. In every sim, this track seems to allow the track cuts.
It's weird because
most tracks.
I find that weird because, I mean, you look at tracks like Kota, you know, where you would think they would be lenient, and then it's just the most strangest things you ever get, you know? It's always just for me.
But
I don't know.
It's also just a bit random because the exit of turn 1, if you go wide over the sausage curb, you get penalized. And that actually kind of slows you down. But if you cut it on the inside of turn 1, you go right up to the wall, they allow that. They say that's fine. Like there, you're right over the white line, you're on the curb. That's fine.
To be fair, it does encourage more aggressive racing. It does encourage more racing, more drivers getting side to side, seeing what they can do.
Yeah, but I do have a feeling it bothers Dennis's realism bone.
Oh, 100%.
Well, the whole point of racing is to race as fast as you can within a set road. So if others are driving a different track, then that's unfair.
Dennis, if I were to, not that I'm going to, right, but if I were to get you started on this topic, how long do you think you could talk about track limits around Austria?
This is the perfect track to talk about track limits because one of the drivers that's in this race, a couple of years ago we had a fun race here at this circuit in the original AC. And when we were doing the practice, he was about almost 5 seconds a lap faster than everyone. Then the guy started watching what he was doing. Every single corner, bar none, he was right up to the barriers. So into turn 1, he was literally right up to the barrier. So when we next go to turn 1, I'll show you. Here he would be right up to the barrier there because that was tarred in the AC version. And then he would come right out wide here. And he was getting such an advantage that he was literally almost 5 seconds a lap faster than everyone else. So it's absolutely amazing the amount of cutting that you can do on this track, how much it opens up the corner that you can carry so much more speed in and out.
Yeah.
And it's only
Because
10
you think-
corners. That's how
because you
much of a
think
cut the advantage is.
Using
Yes.
the entire track plus more there.
Yeah. It is. I mean, to be fair, it is the definition of I paid for the whole track. I'm gonna make sure I get the whole track, isn't it? You guys, listen. You can tell me I'm wrong, but am I really like?
No, not at all.
Okay, continuing on, Harry Funzo is in the lead, and he will be glad to be in that lead, but he does have Mr. Mondre I cannot speak English today, folks. Mr. Mondre Clausen up behind him, and Bradley Searle in that P2 position. Going to be very interesting to see when those two eventually pit, because they still haven't pitted. Even I am starting to get a bit nervous for them now. So Bradley, Harry, if you can hear me, please pit. I asked nicely. Please, just come into the pits, just please. You're going to be doing us all a favor. Okay. Other than that,
I have a question.
question. Yeah, I was going to ask you, but yeah.
Yeah. Is the pit window closing? Or is it open?
No, our pit window is open for the guys to choose whenever they want to. As long as they don't pit on the last lap, they can pit any lap.
Alright, because I was wondering about that, because there's about 20 minutes left of this race.
But there is a problem with that strategy. So what some of the drivers will do, which almost caught out some drivers and actually did catch out one, is that if they decide to go late and there's only enough time to do their last 2 stops, and then there's a problem on one of those stops, then they don't have time to serve it if they have a penalty or can't serve the actual stop, then they'll get a penalty for not doing their allotted stop. So they'll only have maybe one registered, even though they go in, and they won't have enough time to do the second one again. So that's the risk of doing it too late.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like sometimes it's worth it. It all depends on the person and how they set it up for themselves.
Dennis and Tina, sorry, Dennis, I know your voice is sore. I'm gonna just ask you guys to take over for 2 seconds here. I am getting spam emails that some of my accounts are being deleted, so I just want to make sure I'm not being hacked.
No problem. You go do your thing.
I'm going to be with you guys in as soon as I can. I promise.
Good luck.
And we have Neil Swartz in the pits as well. So Neil will now be the first driver, or the highest up driver, to have done both his stops. He was one of the first to go in. So we'll see how that plays out. 2 drivers in front of him, Jean-Louis de Toy and Mondre Clausen, they've done 1 stop. And then the 2 drivers second and first, we have Gerry van Zyl and Bradley Searle. They haven't done any stops yet. So Neil might actually be in a very solid position here at the moment.
Oh.
He's certainly on, I would say, likely to end up on the podium the way he's going at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like he's got everything to gain and nothing to lose right now. I wonder what must be going through the guys' heads between Van Zyl and Cyril right now, because they haven't pitted at all. I wonder if they're going to do both their pits right after each other.
I know at the last round they also pitted very late. Maybe that's just their strategy, the way that they work it is pit as late as you can. Maybe that way they've built up enough of a gap that they don't have any issues with traffic and things like that. My strategy would be, if I'm in the race, I would consider 2 things. First of all, do you start on full tanks and then you just stop for your splash and dash and make it very quick stops, which is probably the most popular choice? Or do you maybe fill up with half a tank and you stop mid-race and then a splash and dash right at the end just for that final litre? Those are the 2 most common stops, I would assume. I think they are going for the full tank option and then doing 2 splash and dashes right at the end.
Yeah, possibly. The good part about their strategy is that wherever they come out on their second and the second stop, they will be fighting for that position. So I guess that's probably what's going through their heads, where they have an idea of where they will end up, and they're planning for that specifically, so they
Yes.
can immediately get back into the battle without any traffic or anything behind them.
I'm very curious to see how Neil's going to pan out at the end of the strategies. Another driver going well here is when I deploy, but he still has to do another stop. I think Gerrit Bierkes is the next one that's... He's done both his stops, so I think he's going to jump a few places towards the end, but I think he's a bit far back to challenge the podium. I think he's going to probably finish in 4th place.
Yeah, he's in a very good position right now, though.
Yeah, he has at least done his pit stop, so we see, I think that's Andre Hildebrand, so he'll pick up a 7th place from Andre.
Yes, he does. And then now he's chasing after Deploy.
Now, Deploy is quite far up the road, though, 30 odd seconds.
Yeah, he does still have to do his second pit stop as well, though.
Yes, and a pit stop here, I think, is probably 35 to 40 seconds if it's just a 1 liter splash and dash. It might even be a fraction more, so we'll see the next time a driver comes in. We have John Toy in the pits as well.
He's complete with both his stops now. I wonder where he's going to come out. Should come
Right,
out.
and he's just lost the place to Neil, so Neil has now passed him.
Oh,
Although, there it said he had passed him, but there he's actually slightly behind, but he's got the momentum now.
it's going to be immediately going on the attack.
Okay, so Genre managed to hold off Neil, but Neil ties her up to temperature. He might get very close and challenge.
Yeah, I think he should, to be honest. He's already 900ths of a second behind.
That was very close, and I'm sure Neil is upset about it, and Genre is overwhelmed by it.
Coming out of the pits to see that car must be a sight. Nothing. The car is beautiful, but it's nothing to look forward to.
Yeah, it's the last thing you want to do is when you come out the pits, see a car just in front of you that you wanted to be ahead of. Also, hello to all the guys on YouTube. We haven't really referenced you guys much. We have Chris Collison. Evening, Chris. Looking forward to having you back at the next one. We have Jan Bierkes. How's it, Jan? Good to have you here again. Hopefully you'll be joining us again soon as well. It's good that work is busy. And we have Sumire Bierkes, who's always here. So, evening, Sumire. And Dani Krobler. Good to have you, Dani. So it looks like Neil has got a bit of a run here.
Oh. He's pulling in. Will he go for the inside, or is he just going to tuck in behind? He tucks in behind.
Right, let's see what sort of drive Neil gets onto the straight. We know the Mustang's got good horsepower. Well, it looks like he gets out of the corner a bit slow, and it's towards the end of the straight where the horsepower is kicking in and he runs out of room.
Wow. He is right on the bumper, though. Like, just through the exit of the corner, it just loses that gap.
I don't think he's got the traction he needs to take advantage of the horsepower.
No, not at all. And this is a track where he might need it as well.
Yeah, the McLaren definitely seems a bit more nimble on the turn-in, and then it gets going a bit quicker, just gains maybe a car length or two, and it's only sort of midway down the straights where the Mustang starts to gain, and it's gaining less than what he's losing, so I just think he's going to have to rely on the McLaren maybe making a small mistake or getting a bit of a slide or something. And now he's actually being dropped slightly.
Yeah. The McLaren's got really good pace right now. I think it will be very difficult for Neil to catch up to him and then pass, as well as trying to get a bit more distance from him so he doesn't lose that position immediately afterwards.
So much for the wet weather race. We had wet weather in practice and it just seems to have disappeared. But it's been quite an exciting race so far.
Do you think there are any drivers who set up for a wet race?
I think there will definitely be a few that did. The server was set to be light rain, but it does have a variation, so it's possible that the server decided to vary it into dry, but I'm a bit surprised it stayed dry the whole race. But I think you are able to see the weather forecasts in the car, so maybe some drivers looked at that, and other drivers maybe just assumed what was told and just went by that. So I would assume that there would be at least 1 or 2 drivers that did set up for the wet.
Yeah. I mean, it would somewhat explain what's been going on with some of the drivers pulling so far ahead of the rest of the pack.
But it's been interesting to see how it's played out, because it's definitely brought a bit of strategy into play. And we still haven't seen our first and second place pit either, so we're not too sure what's going to happen with them. So this could mean that Zolder and Neil definitely gain some places. So first and second could end up maybe third and fourth.
Possibly. I mean, there's 13 minutes remaining on the race, and they have to do 2 stops, about 30 seconds each.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Mondre will come out in the lead after first and second have pitted. The question is, how far ahead is he on Gendre? Can he be passed? And I don't think he'll be challenged by Gendre. So I think Mondre is on par to take victory, probably from Harry and then from Bradley.
Yeah, I mean, he is also holding that 8.6 gap to the leaders. It's been pretty consistent for the whole time that he's been behind them. So I think he might have this, but he still does have to do his second pit stop.
And when they deploy now in the pits for his final stop, that means Garrett Vehicles should then pick off a place, and he will then, I think, be promoted to 6th place. So Garrett not making up as much ground as we would have assumed. I think 6th place is probably going to be the best he can achieve at the moment, because all the drivers ahead of him, apart from the top 3, who I think are too far ahead, have all done their stops.
Yes, and there's still a bit of a gap between him and the driver ahead of him. And whether he has enough time to close that gap or not is an entirely different question.
I think time is the big thing. There's only just under 12 minutes left, 11 minutes 30 odd seconds. The front 2 runners need to do their laps, their pit stops as soon as possible. They're going to run out of time. So we're going to see them fairly shortly.
That situation there is worrying me a bit. Because there is not much time left of this race. That's almost 90% of the race gone.
And if they don't do their stops, they will get penalized by the server.
Okay. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and you too. I am back. I bring good news and good news.
Well, welcome to the good news.
Okay, so first piece of good news is I don't think the racing is done yet. I do still think we have some racing to see in this race. Second bit of good news is I am not being hacked. It turns out earlier today, when I was closing accounts, some companies, Amazon, forgot to send me emails that I am closing my accounts, and when they now popped up 5 at a time, all in my inbox, I got worried. Turns out it was just me from about 6 hours ago. So thank you, Paz Taylor, really appreciate you. If it was an episode of Doctor Who, I would now not be surprised at all.
So you weren't hacked by yourself?
I was hacked by myself, which I don't really know whether I should feel violated, Dennis. I'm not quite sure how I should feel about this. Okay, Harry Bonzel in the lead now, and he is coming into pits finally. Good morning, Harry. Welcome to the pit lane. I know it's something you might not know about, seeing as you haven't been here for 50 minutes, but welcome, Harry. We hope you enjoy your stay. Bradley Searle should be following him in quite soon. And the question is, has Harry made up enough time on Mondre, or is Mondre just going to soar past? I have a feeling it's going to be the latter, ladies and gentlemen. Here is Bradley Searle. He comes past. He will take P1, and I think this might actually be the first race lap he'll lead. So very well done to Bradley, sticking out to the end. He will go P1, Mondre will go P2, and Harry will fall back to that P3 position because he is pitting. But the top two still need to pit. And also, John and Toy, 2 seconds between them as Harry exits now. And the question is, how far behind Bradley is Harry? We're gonna have to wait a lap here for the timing to update, or maybe half a lap. It depends, obviously, on how long stuff happens, or how long ACC takes. But at the moment, as it updates there, the gap between Harry and Bradley will be about 11 or 12 seconds. That's not a very long gap, is it?
No, it's not.
It's not, and the pit stop is much more than that.
It is indeed. So now the question is, did Harry just do a splash and dash? And what is Brad going to do? That is the question now. And this is going to be very, very interesting. It's gonna get heated up as we say that. This is Bradley Searle. He is chasing down. I believe that's the back marker. Not even a back marker, is it?
Yeah.
That's just John Ray.
No, that is Dinesh Singh.
Oh, that is Dinesh.
Yeah.
Okay, that is okay. Yeah, no, for a second there, I was like, yo, he's flipping caught the whole field.
Right, and into the pits he comes. And see how slow it is.
Well, how slow?
How slow it is.
How slow the pit stop is. Okay, no, he is into the pits. I won't disagree with Dennis there. And we're gonna see how fast it is, because I'm optimist, Mr. Dennis. We're gonna see how quick this is, and where will the rest come out in comparison.
Well, by slow, I mean lap time wise, it's a lot slower to come into the pits. You lose 30 or 40 seconds.
I thought you were calling Brad slow.
Oh no,
I was like, that's a bit rude. That's a bit rude, Dennis. That's a bit rude. Okay, no, but as we say that, folks, here we are coming out. Well, Bradley was coming out of the pits, but we are at Mondre Clausen. Now, Mondre Clausen has to pit soon unless he's planning on being disqualified. Please don't plan on being disqualified, Mr. Mondre. He will now. He has 7 minutes remaining. Surely he'll peel into the pits. I mean, surely, guys.
Well, 7 minutes to go. It's this lap or the next, basically.
No, I think. Yeah. As a team owner, I am going to pray that he comes in. As an avid Mondre fan, he is coming in. Is he? Ooh, okay. And his pit entry was better there. Dennis, I don't know if we can maybe get a FIA real-time review on that. See the state of that pit entry. I really learned.
Carry behind him also in.
Comes in.
In behind as well, and I think we will see Bradley, he is obviously a bit further back. I think we should see him in as well. And Bradley, does he come in? Yes, he
goes for another lap.
So he wanted to come in, and then last second he was like, "No, I'm not going to."
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to lead another lap.
You know what? And good on Bradley. He can put it on his LinkedIn. That's where you put work stuff, is it not? You put all your work stuff on LinkedIn?
Yes.
Yeah, you put the work stuff on LinkedIn.
Yeah, put all your work stuff on LinkedIn. Be like, I led 2 laps of some experience as A.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a bit of an achievement. As you say, their team Mondre does exit the pits in P2. Harry will exit in P3, and now it's only Bradley in the field. It is only Bradley Searle with 5 minutes remaining in this wonderful race, where I thought I was getting hacked, where we should have had rain and we didn't, where Dennis should have been resting his voice, and where we had 2 drivers from the same team crash into each other. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sim Experience SA. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, just welcome, man.
Your guess is as good as ours. What's next?
Honestly, at this point, we could just see the Mustang of Harry just spontaneously combust. Also, why does it say Harry's in P5?
That is a good question.
It is.
So, because Harry was just in P3.
Well, let's jump back a bit and see. I'm going to jump back for a minute. So we can see him out of the pits. What actually happens out of the
Oh,
pits?
this is going to be a long replay.
It is, but hopefully it will cover us a lot. There we see him dropping off the tracks.
And he comes out, so he comes out in P3. We know this, we see this.
Where does it go after that?
Maybe he just pushes it wide out of one of the corners, trying to get the tires up to temperature.
Yeah, but how wide for him to lose, what, 20 seconds? How wide do you have to go?
Maybe down the hill.
Unless he went all the way to Belgium.
At the end of this straight, there's that very sharp right hand, and there, if you get it wrong, you're on the sand, and that can slow you down a lot. So maybe it's there.
Okay, let's have a look. Harry. Is it possible that the timing screens are just bugged?
It is possible, but on my end, it's usually more accurate, and my end, it's saying he's in 5th place. There it goes now live, so we don't get to see it anyway.
Okay, so we don't know what happened. He was supposed to be P3, just isn't. And that's Bradley! That's Bradley Searle! Sorry, I've just now realised that this is Bradley Searle and Harry van Zel battling. Harry does the outside line, Bradley does the inside line. Boys, don't become aggressive. Okay, and Harry gets in front. That'll put Harry up into P4. Still,
you know, this plays out amazingly interestingly for the championship. Our championship leader is in 2nd place. And Harry's been catching quite nicely the last few rounds, having the last 2 victories. This is a big blow to Harry to have dropped that extra place now.
It is.
Or 2 places, he would have been 2nd place.
Yeah, he would have been 2nd place, wouldn't he? So what's happened? How did he just...
Well, it's Harry and... Who else are we missing? We're missing another driver.
Cyril. It's Harry and Cyril. Because they were both... They were 2 and 3 currently.
They were supposed to be 2 and 3, so...
Yeah. Interesting.
What? Huh? Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any clarification, please put a message in chat now explaining to us how incredibly stupid we are for missing the obvious, because I feel like it's going to be something incredibly obvious that we've missed.
Obvious that we've missed.
Yeah, it's something... Did we count the pit stops right? No, but surely not.
Oh, we counted the pit stops right.
Unless we're colorblind, because it also shows us the color, so we're pretty sure we got that right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Unless what happened was maybe P2 and P3 got together, ran each other wide, because we did see when we came back that they were together again just a few places back.
Yeah, but Harry was in P4. He was in P4 before Bradley was behind him. So something had to have happened to both of them before they caught up with each other.
Well, either way, that has definitely benefited Jean-Louis du Toit. He had a 10-point championship lead coming into this round. And I think Harry van Zel is probably his biggest challenger at the moment, and that has given him a bit of breathing room over Harry with 2 rounds to go after this.
Exactly, and I mean... Okay, so a wild race, a very confusing race, a race where and you know what? Ironically enough, we were sat here confidently, cockily saying, "Oh, you know, anything could happen," you know, kind of saying it tongue in cheek, and then somehow this happens.
It truly has been an interesting race.
This is just like it's beyond interesting, isn't it?
Anything did happen. Well, something happened, and we are lost for words currently.
We're lost words, but what a race! Though I do have to say, as we go around the final quarters here with Monday, I want to say a big thank you to our sponsor, SafeBoys.co. I want to say a big thank you to our organisers, Sim Experience SA, led by Dennis Mitchell. I want to say a big thank you to the drivers who showed up today, and hopefully we will see some more in the following few weeks, folks. As I say that, this is Mundrek Lawson. He has had a great race. He's had a dominant race. 18 seconds ahead, Mundrek Lawson will cross the finish line to win the Sim Experience SA Red Bull Ring Round 8. A beautiful drive from him. John Renatoy, after what was looking to be a tough race, with some last few lap luck, he will come home in P2. Neil Schwartz will come back in P3. Harry P4. Birdie'sville P5, Biekas P6, we've just seen the Poig over in P7, Gullis P8, Hildebrand P9, Singh P10, Alex P11, Augustus P12, Oliver 13, and 13, and Visahi in 14. What a race, folks! What a flipping race!
A bit of a strange one for Gerrit, not getting a good result. He definitely had the pace around here. Maybe he was caught out by running a wet weather setup as well. So maybe one of the drivers that was caught out by the server deciding to go dry, not wet.
Well, to be fair, Vicious T-Man did predict that he could get up to P6. So, in terms of prediction, honestly, that was a great prediction.
Oh.
All right, I think we're going to jump to an ad break quickly. Most of the drivers are crossing the line already. We'll be back with our top 3 drivers for the interviews. Please stay tuned. We'll see you shortly.
Okay.
right, welcome back everybody to the Sim Experience South Africa GT3 World Series, brought to you by the safeboys.com. This, of course, is the completion of round 8 from the Red Bull Ring. We are joined by our top 3 drivers, which, of course, were in first place Mondre Klaasen, in second place Jean de Tour, and in third place Neil Swartz. Apologies for my voice, it's getting a bit croaky again. Let's start with Mondre. Mondre, a great race from you. We were getting a bit worried that you weren't going to do your pit stops towards the end there, but you had great pace. You managed to fight off the other guys. There were some good battles there throughout the race. Talk us through the race.
It's pretty just simple, straightforward. I knew the track pretty well, so I just planned from the beginning, no tires, kind of start with full fuel and just put in 1 liter. And that was basically, I accidentally just didn't expect the weather to be dry the whole time, so I loaded a hybrid setup, so the pace was a bit off. But further, once I got Zolder out of the way, I just kept the pace going, making sure to make the gap bigger and bigger. For knowing if I do make accidents or small mistakes, I know I can still capitalize on the gap that I have.
And that's something I also wanted to ask, was regarding the setups, because we were expecting the server to be wet. The server was set to be light rain, and yet I didn't see a single drop of rain in the race. So you obviously did have a hybrid setup. Your hybrid setup, would that have been fine in the wet and in the dry?
Yes, it's a mix. It's made for both, for dry and wet conditions. But when it's just dry, you're gonna definitely see a drop in your times.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did see that with some of the drivers struggling a bit. But yeah, thanks for that, and congratulations on the race victory.
Thank you very much.
Genre, you also had a bit of a yo-yo race. It looked at one point that you were really strong at the start, and then it looked like you had a bit of loss of pace and a bit of bad luck, and then towards the end there it all came good, and there you are on the podium again in second place. Your main championship rival actually ended up only in fourth place, so you've grabbed a few points over Harry as well. He seems to be the driver that's catching up the most and the fastest. So what all happened in the middle of the race?
Yeah, it was a bit of a mess up. I was preparing for a wet race, had a wet setup, everything mapped out, and as soon as the server switched over, I saw there's no rain predicted. Then I had no server. I didn't know what pressures my tires had to be, so I just switched to dry tires, guessed the temperatures. So in the race, my temperatures were a bit low. But overall I think it went fine. Then I just decided to stick out with one set of tires. I'm not going to pit for tires just to make up some time. So, but overall I think I had full fuel, and that's why Harry and Bradley caught me so much in the beginning. I'm pretty sure they only had half fuel. But in the end I managed to make it work, got second, but unfortunately Mondre was a bit fast. I was hoping I could take him in quali, but it's difficult with these pro drivers.
Well, you definitely had good pace towards the end of the race, and you at least got second place, so that's good for the championship. You had 10 points over second place coming into this round, and you've extended your lead with only 2 rounds to go. So now I guess your focus will start to be on the championship.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm not sure if we still have a drop round left, but I will be missing, I think, the last one, which is unfortunate because I won't be in town. So I'll have to make the most out of the next weekend.
All right, well, congratulations in second.
Thank you.
And in third place, Neil Swartz, a fantastic round. You were one of the first, if not the first, to head into the pits. And it looked like you were going to be really strong. And then when you came out, you didn't seem to gain the advantage that I expected. But then as the race progressed and after the second stops, we don't know what happened to Harry. Harry seemed to sort of drop back with Bradley, so something maybe happened between them, and suddenly you were back in third, which is kind of where I was expecting you would come out after the first stop. So all in all, a fantastic result. Did you perhaps see what happened with them, and how was your race from your point of view?
Oh, I mean, hi guys, thanks a lot. No, so I mean, when the start of the race was super fun. I mean, we had a 4-way battle going on there in the first couple laps, and then I noticed like all the battling that is going on is like my pace is a little bit better than we actually got out of those laps, so I just decided to pit early. And I thought my race was going to be with John Ray initially because I knew we both were running the same strategy by accident, but we both not going to change any tires or refuel properly. We just put 1 liter of fuel in. So then I got some clean air. I was able to do consistent laps. I was just able to do the exact same lap times over and over again, and that launched me up quite a bit. But I do think Harry and Bradley, they only took half fuel, so they were a lot faster than us in the beginning, definitely. But I do think that Harry accidentally had his tyre swapped out as well, because otherwise he would have definitely had track position on us. And his pace was insane. Like when he came out 7 seconds behind me with 5 minutes to go, I was a bit worried about it, thinking 5 minutes might not be enough to keep that buffer. But luckily I was able to bring it home in third, and yeah, not what I expected, but happy for it.
Well, congratulations on the podium.
Thank you.
And then back to you, Mondre. What a fantastic result for you. I'm not sure if Vicious is available. Tina, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Would you like to do the final question for Mondre?
Yeah, Mondre. I was just wondering, what was going through your head with such a large lead ahead of the rest of the pack, and you kept on pulling away as well?
I was just constantly thinking to myself, keep calm, and like try to minimize the mistakes, because I notice myself when I'm not battling someone or something, I tend to like not focus on the race anymore. So just constantly remind myself, keep calm, focus on the race, keep calm, just to keep the margin, keep the gap there, keep the pace up.
Yeah, and how did the back markers affect you? Because there were quite a few close.
Yeah,
the back markers there.
Yeah, there was an unfortunate event in the beginning, because I was so confused with the one Mustang that pulled off to the right at T1, and all of a sudden just slammed over me. So that was the only real concern I had. Was like, okay, Zolder is catching up fast now by lap 3. I need to try to capitalize again, because this actually hurt my aero a lot. 20-second damage in front. I couldn't rotate the car as I wanted it. But after that, the back markers wasn't a really issue. Most of them, when I flashed them, they would give way, or I would find a gap and get past them. It's only that one incident in the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, well, congratulations, guys, and well done to the victory there, Mondre. And hopefully we'll see you at the next round as well.
You will. Thank you very much,
Okay,
guys.
Thanks, guys. I'm just going to drop you guys out into the room
cheers, guys.
above.
Just a
All right, it's just us left. All right, so that brings us to the conclusion of round 8, which is from the Red Bull Ring. So the next round will be from the Imola Grand Prix circuit, and that'll be our penultimate round, which will then lead us into the Watkins Glen round. So 2 weeks' time, we'll be back for Imola. Next week, we'll have our R-Factor 2 endurance round. So if you'd like to watch that, you can join us for that. But 2 weeks' time, we'll be back for Imola, and then a week after that, we'll have the final round from the Watkins Glen International Circuit in the United States. So until then, remember to head over to thesafeboys.com if you have any safe requirements, whether it's new or secondhand. You can give Johannes a shout, he can help you out. Whether it's fitment or extraction, give him a shout, he can help you out. And remember to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed what you're watching and want to see more. And if you'd like to join us, we have a Discord link in the bottom. You can join the Discord. Come see what you'd like to join. We do the ACC series, we do an R-Factor series. We've got some other series that are going to be lined up fairly shortly. So sign up, come join, become a part of the team, and come have some fun with us. And you're always welcome to join us. So until the next race, have a good week, and we will see you all at the next one. And thank you once again for Vicious for joining me, Tino. Good to have some new voices here. And of course, Xavier, who's not here at the moment, but thank you for Xavier. But thank you, Tino. Awesome to meet you and to have you joining in the commentary.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, man. Had a lot of fun. Enjoyed it very much.
Great.
Very interesting race.
Great. Thanks very much. Then we'll catch everyone else at the next round, which will be the Imola Circuit in 2 weeks' time. See you then.